for the last few days. We were very busy. We are organizing the forum about the voice, and for everyone, maybe you are following us, we are against the voice. We are now mobilizing the people from non-English speaking backgrounds to vote no for the voice, and we are campaigning very hard to abort this destructive referendum by Labour Greens. And in the next few weeks we will explain in details why we think that this is a destructive referendum, a destructive agenda, which could be a turning point for Australian politics, for Australian political life, and for Australian society if they succeed. And we have doubt their ability to succeed, because a referendum will need two-thirds of the population, general population, to agree, two-thirds, which is about more than 66% of the population, to agree on the referendum, and the majority of states to agree, which means that if there is two states that will say no, the majority will say no, even if the 66% of the population will vote for yes, it will not succeed. And now there are 3 states the majority are saying no: Queensland, South Australia and Western Australia. They are saying no to the referendum, the majority of people, so most likely it will fail. Today I will not talk about the voice. Today I will talk about the Liberal Party, because the Liberal Party wants to say that I represent the Conservative voters. And last week we saw pathetic many Liberal politicians came in defense of the Teal independence. Or some of these politicians were attacking the Liberals' position to oppose the voice, and siding with the Labour Greens Teal walk movement that push for the yes vote. And here, well, I just wanted to say a few words about the Liberal Party. Some people think that, okay, the people, the top of the Liberal Party, the leaders of the Liberal Party, Peter Dutton and the guy in New South Wales, they are conservative. This is bullshit, by the way. Peter Dutton and the guy in New South Wales, this guy and Dominic Perrottet came with the support of the woke Liberal politicians, the woke Liberal politicians who had secret deal. We will install you as a premier, but you will implement, you will adopt our policies. And this is why Dominic Perrottet, for example, he continued to close down the state, enforce the mandate until he lost the power, and he was always in the pocket of the woke Liberal faction, or they call it the left faction or the moderate faction in the Liberal Party. When Matt Kean last week came and described a bad ad in the Financial Review, I think, about the big corporations donating millions of dollars to the Yes campaign, and Matt Kean was repeating the lies of Teal politicians, and the Labour Greens attack on that ad, describing it as sexist. And now I can see this Teal politician that was targeted in the ad. She is accusing Fair Australia and the advertisers, the No campaign, of being sexist, because she's a woman. If you criticize her, you are sexist. This is what Julia Gillard did, and this is what all this woke movement did. If you criticize Jihad Deeb, for example, because he's a Lebanese heritage, you are racist. If you criticize Linda Burney because she's an indigenous person, you are racist. If you criticize a woman, you are sexist. And when Tony Abbott was criticizing Julia Gillard, she accused him of all kind of things, misogynist, sexist, whatever. But that's okay for the woke movement to claim this. That's okay for them to claim this, because they have nothing to defend their actions, and they did everything wrong to this country. So they would use such accusations to scare other people and to silence them. But for liberal politicians like Matt Kean to come and say, yes, it is a sexist, yes, it is racist. The cartoon was simple. West Farmers boss, which is the father of one of the Teal politicians, were channeling millions of dollars to the Yes campaign and giving it to the leader of one of the leader of the Yes campaign, Mayo. And for the people who doesn't know Mayo is a hardcore communist that thinks that we should pay respect to the elders of the Communist Party of China, and he wants every Australian to pay rent anywhere, to pay rent for the indigenous people for living in this country, to compensate. Every Australian need to compensate the indigenous people for historical injustices done against indigenous people 200 years ago. And some of these people, like Mayo and others, they even went even further and asking all of us to leave Australia because we are colonialists. Like Lydia Thorpe and Mayo, this is the people who are who will now dictate our politics for the next generations if the Voice will succeed. What's happening in the Liberal Party, and I know many people in the Liberal Party, all the reports coming out from the Liberal Party that the Liberal Party is collapsing when it comes to the membership, because they are creeping more and more to the woke movement, and now it's controlled by the woke movement totally, to the point that a lot of politicians, liberal politicians, will support the Yes campaign. A lot of liberal politicians are supporting the climate hoax, supporting all the other hoaxes that the Labour and the Greens and the Teal are using to destroy our society, to destroy our economy, and to enforce the New World Order on us. More importantly, why they want to introduce the Voice is just to turn Australia into a total dictatorship, to silence the parliament, to silence any independent media, to silence minor parties. They will introduce the Voice, and everything that they want to do to destroy Australia, they will come and say, here, this is what the Voice wants. And now, if you follow the SPS, you can see where are we going. We are going to destroy family values, spread over-sexualization of our education system, enforce or allow kids as young as 12 years old into a chemical castration without the consent or without taking opinion of parents into account, and all the other things under the Voice. And there were many reports on the SBS and ABC that indigenous transgender people want the Voice to introduce or to introduce legislation that will limit the parents' say in their kids' lives, and destroy our families, destroy our moral values, destroy our culture, destroy our religious values. And they are talking about this openly now. They are talking about closing all gas mines, all coal mines, because the indigenous people wants this. They are talking about banning the cash and more cashless society, because the indigenous people wants this, because the voice wants this. And so when the voice will come, you need to expect that there will be a total dictatorship under the threats of if you oppose this, you are racist, you are anti-indigenous people, and you will be marginalized, silenced, attacked, and your professional career ended. The sad things here, we expect the Labour and the Greens to do this, to go this path. They are the leaders in these attacks and in these agendas. But for the Liberal Party to not only be silent on these issues, but to support this woke agendas, it is pathetic. And this is why the Liberal Party now controls no government in Australia except Tasmania. This is how you can understand that now the woke movement is controlling everywhere in Australia. There is no indications that a Liberal Party will come to control any state or any federal government. And if even the Labour will lose its reputation, and soon the people will discover the destructive agendas that the Labour and the Greens are leading, and the crippling of our society, the housing crisis which reached boiling point at the moment, and the food security which is vanishing quickly, and the Labour Party will lose its popularity. This popularity will not go to the Liberal Party. The Liberal Party under the woke leadership has no chance to win back the Conservative membership, to win back the Conservative voters, and to win back government. For Matt Kean and other woke liberal politicians to come and vent his poison against an ad which was funded by the Liberal Party, by the way, and without any liberal politician publicly criticize him, and all indications inside the Liberal Party are indicating that we are going from bad to worse to the worst inside the Liberal Party. The latest was the ending of the term of popular liberal national senator Rennick, Gerard Rennick, who won a lot of support among the Conservative voters because he stood very strong against the mandate, against lockdown, against restrictions, and against the voice. Now the LNP, the Liberal National Party in Queensland, punished him by allowing internal pre-selection to oust him from the ticket altogether. This is bad indication, and Liberal LNP will lose further voters, popularity. On the other side, and I talked about this before, at the moment there is no leadership at the Conservative camp. There is a big section of the society, at least a quarter of the society, are unhappy from Labour, Liberals, Greens, and basically they are unhappy from the Liberal departing or betraying the conservative voters, and they are waiting for a conservative leadership. This is why before the last state election, I tried to bring together some of the conservative leaders together to work together and coordinate together, so that we don't lose the vote because of no coordination. It did not happen. We could reach a few people, and the others refused to talk to us, to the point that the Liberal Democrats, who wants to convince us that they are conservative, defending our basic civil rights, they were attacking other conservative people, including myself, including Mike Latham, including other conservative people, because they wanted to be seen as a progressive conservatives. And I will talk in details about the Liberal Democrats, which is the woke side of the Liberal Party. So you can imagine how the Liberal Party is corrupt. The Liberal Party is shifting further and further to the woke side. The Liberal Democrats is even worse than the woke leadership inside the Liberal Party, and this is why the Liberal Democrats were distributing at the last state election how to vote cards that urging voters to vote for the Greens ahead of myself, ahead of other conservative candidates, for no reason. I mean, I tried to reach to them, I sent them emails and others, but they thought that I am a threat on them, and we will prove to them that they are not conservative and they cannot be trusted. And you just need to remember that, and I will talk in details about the Liberal Democrats. You need to remember that the Liberal Democrats in the last 6 months were intense in fighting because of accusation of corruption among its leadership. So a political party that has no power anywhere. This is the first time they won in the state of New South Wales, and they don't have anywhere except one in Victoria, and they are corrupt. They are corrupt. They are accusing each other of corruption. This is what you expect from the Liberal Democrats. But at the moment, there are good signs that a lot of other conservative people are coming together, and I was contacted by many of these conservative leaders. We are meeting together soon, and we want to bring together a vision, an alliance, so that in the next election we can capitalize on the people, at least to 25% of the voters who lost any hope of the political system, to channel their votes to one of the real conservative parties, instead of wasting it, and which will benefit either Liberal or Labour. Labour more than Liberals. I will talk about this later on, but what I can see from the Liberal Party, watching the Liberal Party, there is no hope. Without the Liberal Party going back to its basis, sticking to the family values, to the moral values, to the traditional freedom in business, fighting against the climate hoax, fighting against restrictions and lockdowns, and all these woke agendas. The Liberal Party will lose more and more. They will lose more and more voters, more and more members, and will have less chance to get back to power. And if they will get back to power, they need to be punished by getting back to power by allying with other minor conservative parties, because alone the Liberal Party is compromised. It's infiltrated at all levels with the woke movement with the deep state agents, and at the moment I can't trust the Liberal Party to be the alternative of the Labour Greens. And at the last election, I said this at the polling booth when people were attacking me. So you are now working with the Liberal Party, and I said no, don't vote for the Liberal Party. There are a lot of independent or smaller parties who are truly conservative, who will fight for your family values, for moral values, for freedom, for civil liberties. What gives us a lot of confidence now that this woke movement starts to collapse in Holland, and soon in France and Germany, and maybe in other countries, Denmark, Sweden and others. We have problems in Australia, by the way. We have problems in Australia. There is no conservative alternative, conservative big party, or at least a medium-sized party that can replace the woke infiltrated Liberal Party. The Liberal Party basically is not a conservative party at the moment, and any conservative voters cannot trust the Liberal Party. Please, if you can, subscribe to the channel. Let us grow together, and so that you can receive the next talks, the next information about the other issues, the voice, the family values, the attack on our kids, the attack on our education system and others. Just subscribe and share.